Bonjour. Okay, so in today's video, I'm going to introduce to you the assessment for Unit 5, which is our unit on amour et amitié. So in today's video, I just want you to écoutez-moi, listen to me. I'm going to be speaking pretty much all in English just to explain the task to you. That way you can go back and rewatch this video, share the rubric, and then I want you to spend time and the rest of the time in the lesson just brainstorming ideas for the assessment, just kind of getting some ideas out there. And then in the next lesson, when I see you, I'll guide you from there. We're going to start writing. So the unit assessment is called La Colonne de Conseils, La Colonne de Conseils, which is the advice column. So you've seen this before. We've been working on things like Dear Abby. It's very, very similar. This time you're going to do it as your unit assessment. Okay, I'm going to come back to that screen with an example. And for right now, I just want to share with you the task sheet. So as I do this, oops, I might have the wrong one up. Yeah. As I do this, it's not currently on PowerSchool, but it will be. Okay, so it will be on PowerSchool. So I'm just going to show you and just follow along with me. So there are two deadlines, as you can see. If you're G1, B1, it's the 18th of February, G2, 19th. So I'm staggering you a day because I'm introducing the assignment to you a day behind. So you all have just over a week to complete this, which is more than enough time. So, and I put the task in English. You'll be writing an advice column based on questions written by your classmates. So you're going to write the questions, you're going to write the problems, and then I'm going to divide up those problems and you're going to choose some to write advice to. Okay, just very similar to what we've been doing over the past few weeks. You're going to name your column, so give yourself an advice column. It doesn't have to be Dear Abby, it can be anything that you want, and write answers to each question that you've been assigned. And be creative with your answers, be creative with your problems. They do not have to be real life stuff, it just has to follow this criteria. So you're going to get a little bit of points for your creativity of the name of your advice column. That's something that you could come up with today. You're going to write 4 problems asking for advice, and I'm going to focus on your creativity, your vocabulary from the unit. So use your vocab lists. It's not a test, it's a project. So I want you to use what you've been learning. Draguer, coup de foudre, se réconcilier, se disputer, all of those. And notice how I focus more on the reciprocal verbs. So I want you to show off the reciprocal verbs you've been learning and how you understand how you construct them in your problems. Then that's the first stage. Then I'm going to take those problems and redistribute them amongst you. So then you're going to choose 4 problems, or I'm going to assign you 4 problems. We'll see how it goes. And you're going to answer 4 problems. And your response should be each response should be about 5 sentences in length, and you're using the conditional tense. So not just a quick, simple thing, but you're really giving your advice. You can continue to use reciprocal verbs, but really at this point, I want you to focus on your conditional. If I were you, I would do this. You should do this. You could do this. So again, I'm looking for vocab, grammar, which is conditional, and your creativity in your problems, in your solutions. Finally, the last thing, there is a little bit of pronunciation, which is where you're going to present one of these questions and one of your responses to me. So you've got 4 of each, and you choose the one that you like the most or most confident in or whatever, and you're just going to present that one to me individually, not in front of the class. Okay. So this year, obviously, we are a mix of whether you're virtual or in person. So there's a couple of different submission format options. You can do it on paper as a poster, for example, and that's what we've always done traditionally. So I'm going to show you some examples, but you may choose to do it digitally. So you could use an online program, just like FlipSnack. We used it as a booklet, but you might be able to find a different format, like as an article or something. or it could just be a digital poster or something like that. I create a digital advice column. You could use a Word doc or something to basically format. I'm going to show you a couple of options for formatting. We're going to come back to this, but this is where you're going to start putting your brainstorm, and it's all going to be in French. So what's your title going to be? Question ideas. Obviously, you've got 4 people with 4 different problems. So what kind of vocab do you know? This can be a brainstorm. You don't even have to write your sentences out here yet. It's just your ideas. And then you can even have this space for your ideas for plan for the layout. This could also be an indication to me. Are you doing it digital? Are you doing it on paper? When it comes to the presentational part, so going back up here, when it comes to presenting one of your questions and responses, this is going to depend again on what modality of student you are. If you're in person, it's going to be a lot faster if you just come up to my desk and just present it to me. We can get it all done within one class period on your due date, on your deadline. Due date, that's me, on your deadline date. If you are a fully virtual student, then we can do it over Zoom, and I can allocate you all time so that the time slots so that you can present. Or one of the other options is you could present over on a video, do a recording and send that to me, or I'll set up a Flipgrid. Either way, there'll be something set up so that you can do that. Okay. So really quickly, I'm going to also try and share with you. Let's stop this one and just the rubric. I'm not going to go into great detail with the rubric right now, partly because I can't find it. And also, there it is. Okay. Also, because I don't want to make this video too long and bore you too much, but this is worth bearing in mind, especially because this is how you're going to get the grade. So I'm looking for, like I said, using the conditional. Is it conjugated well and used well, like appropriately? The reciprocal verbs, again, conjugated well and used well, so appropriately. Have you used a variety of vocab that we've been studying in Amour Amitié? So if you go off and try and do all these other things, that's not ticking the box of what we've been learning. That's not showing that you've been organized enough to keep the vocab lists from week 1 or from week 2 till now. So good usage, well written, so not full of like spelling mistakes and stuff. When it comes to free writes and stuff, I'm like, don't worry too much on your spelling, but this isn't a free write. That you're working on this for over a week. So I do want you to pay attention to your spelling, to your punctuation, to all of those things. So there's a category, there's a row right here for pronunciation. So when you speak, it's all on the same rubric. Are you clear? Are you speaking without notes? So I'm going to be paying particular attention if you're trying to get away with that recording a video. It's very obvious to me when you're using notes anyway. So I would prefer a live, but whatever. As long as everybody is going to be assessed, no matter the method of submission, everybody's going to be assessed according to this rubric. Are you easy to understand? Are you speaking with kind of facilité, is like a certain level of fluency for French 3? And then your style, your format, punctuation, does it make sense? Is it well organized, creative, on time? Are you responding to the task? If you got everything in there, great. Simple title, images, color, drawings, design, pictures, whatever. So you get some points for that too. And that's it. All right, so let me show you some examples. Here's some from last year. Or actually, not last year. Maybe some of them are from last year. I don't know, from the few years. I'm a bit of a hoarder. Okay, so this one was done on, obviously they're all done on paper. So you've got the title in the middle. And here you've got problem, answer, problem, answer, problem, answer, problem, answer. Okay, so they've taken somebody else's problem and they've written their answer. This one's quite nice. They've done this one as like a like a web page. Now you could actually do it like that digitally, but back at this time we didn't have computers. I really like some of these titles. This one is Assis à une table avec Juliette. Sit at a table with Juliette. And then here on this side, they've got J'ai besoin d'aide, I need help. And here is le conseil. So problem, answer, problem, answer, problem, answer. So you see it's not actually a whole lot of writing. It might look like it, but really once you come down to it, it's not. This one's nice. I displayed this one. Demandez Mayette, ask Mayette. So she's got hers done like this. And you can see this was the problem that another student wrote. And then I redistributed the problems and she chose this one and then this was her response. So you only get graded for your problem and your response. So even if you pick up a problem from somebody else that's like, you like the problem, you understand the problem, but the grammar and everything's awful, or the spelling's awful, that I'm not going to grade you on somebody else's problem. I'm just going to grade you on the work that you do, your final submission, your problem, and your advice, okay? So she's got a couple of pages, problem, advice, problem, advice. All right, just a few more, just because I'm very proud of some of the work. I'm always proud of my students' work, but just so you have variety, whether you do it on paper or not. Let's see. Oh, we've got different directions, different titles. Le donneur de conseils amoureux, the giver of love advice. So I guess this student chose mostly love advice, so problem, solution. Again, we've got a lot of creative. Oh, I remember this one because they've got the problem, advice. Look how good that one was. Le parfait étranger. All right, so you get the idea. Oh, even a small little booklet form. So all of these students that I'm showing you, yes, it's creative, but the quality of actually the writing is super important. That's where you get the majority of the grade. The conditional tense, the reciprocal, and the vocab that you've been learning, that's the majority. Secondary to that, on time, presentationally looks good, creative, attractive to look at. And the last point then is you've been looking at this for over a week, so you should be confident enough with at least one of those to tell me the problem and then what was your solution? What advice did you give? And that's going to take you all of 30 seconds to a minute to share with me. So very, very short, very, very simple. Oh, this one, sorry. This one going back some ways. This was my first year teaching here. And the student did it all. I think this one set everybody else off in subsequent years to be like, ooh, let's do it fancy like that. So anyway, that is the examples of what they look like. I'm just going to go right back and ask you to finish the lesson with editing this. So you're going to annotate on here. Try and think of a title. This one was L'expert d'amour. And think of here, brainstorm some question ideas. So what are your problems? Okay. And that's all that I want you to be working on. Oh, I forgot I didn't show you mine. Okay, this one was mine. This is the one that I share with all my students every year. So my person is called Monsieur Pierre, l'expert d'amour. So actually this student took my title, which is fine. If you're really stuck, you can take my title. I've created actually I've copied and pasted the same problem, but you're going to have different problems. Cher Pierre, j'ai un gros problème, blah, 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 blah. And then the person that's wrote them in is different. Julien, 24, Paris, Stephanie, 41, Toulouse. And then the response. So cher Stephanie, so you're replying back to that person with your advice. So here we can see, let me see if I can lay on the screen real quick. Okay, so here in the problem, we can see nous sommes disputés. So we argued. So there's one reciprocal in this. Now, I want you to have a reciprocal in each of your problems. So you should have a total of 4, minimum 4 plus, okay? And try and make them different. If you put nous sommes disputés in each single one, that's like the equivalent of having like 1 or 2, okay? So try and pick different ones. And on top of that, in terms of vocabulary, we have disputé, and that's about it for that one in terms of like new vocabulary. Okay, so think about some of the vocabulary that you want to include in there. Okay, if we look in the response, we have l'amour n'est pas toujours facile. Si tu l'aimes toujours, tu devrais, you should. So this is a conditional tense. Les filles aiment les chocolats de feu. Tu pourrais écrire, another one. And then we have tu devrais again, so it's a repetition. So try, it's okay that you're going to have a lot of tu devrais ou vous devriez and tu pourrais. So try and mix up and change up your conditional tenses as well, if you can. And then let's go back and look at the vocabulary. So we have amour, donner, maybe, I mean, donner kind of, écrire un poème, sentiment amoureux, amoureux is one of our words as well from the unit. So try and have like a few in each problem and advice, and then you've got 4 of those. So multiply it by 4. So that is the challenge to your creativity, but I believe that you can do it. So have fun with this project. I'll see you next time in the lesson, either on Zoom or in class in person. And if you're having any kind of clarity issues of like what you need to do, then you can speak to me in class. Okay, au revoir.